We discussed yesterday the paraduma, that the red heifer, that only through the paraduma are you able to remove this level of contamination. Any other contamination, person goes to the mikveh, you're relieved of that contamination. As long as it meets the criteria of what a mikveh is, which is 40 saw, or going to a wellspring, a natural body of water, which has an underground spring. But for tumas mes, if you come in contact with the dead, the only way you can relieve yourself of that contamination is only through the paraduma. There's no other way. And the paraduma, the red heifer, has to meet certain criteria. First, it has to be totally red, as we'll see in a moment. Even if it has 2 black hairs, it's not valid. If anybody had worked with it or put anything on it, it's invalidated. We'll see lo oleh ol. So let's see what it says. Pasuk Gimel. Zos chukas haTorah shetziva Hashem lemor. Darban liyosel yikrei lecha pora aduma tamima. Tamima means that it be totally red. Asher ein bo mum. It's unblemished. Asher lo oleh ol. No yoke or no burden or no item. The Mishnah tells us that if somebody had just put his jacket, his coat on it, or his walking stick on the animal, it's invalidated. Paraduma, that's old. Doesn't mean literally a yoke. Unisatim osa el loza kohen. It's given to Eloza the kohen. V'otzi osa el michutz lamachne. V'shocher osa lefonov. Takes it out of the camp. We'll see in a moment. It's done in Hara Mishcha and Hara Zeisim. Loka kohen midomo mi'etzbo. The kohen takes the blood of the paraduma with his finger. Vizal nochel pnei ol moed midomo sheva pomim. He sprinkles towards the ol moed from its blood 7 times. So let's see Rashi. What does it mean, Tamima?
I don't know what Rebbe is.
Well, Pasuk Beis. V'yikho elecho. This is said specifically to Moshe Rabbeinu. V'yikho elecho, lolam hi nikreis el shmecho. The paraduma always identifies with Moshe Rabbeinu, Porashos and Moshe Bamidbar. Because we'll see, even though there were other paradumas, there was a little bit of the ash of Moshe Rabbeinu intermingled in the ash of the future paradumas that they had brought. This v'yikho elecho. The paraduma always identifies with Moshe Rabbeinu. Aduma tmimo, shnei tmimo badminus. It has to be perfect in redness. Shemhoya bo shtei seoros, shchoros. If it had 2 black hairs, psula. It's considered posul. If it would have 1 black hair, it's not. You have to have 2. We had regarding a leprous lesion, that leprous lesion, one of the signs that it was a leprous lesion, that was saras, that you had this white lesion, and it originally had black hair, and the 2 black hairs turned white. Minimally 2 black hairs turn white. If only 1 turns white. If, let's say, you remove 1 hair, there's a Torah violation, not permitted to remove the negatzoras, to take it from a contaminated state and alter it. That's only if you remove 2 hairs. If you remove 1 hair, so again, when we speak about hair, 2 black, you need minimally 2 black hairs. If it's 1 black hair, it's not sufficient. You have to have 2. So if there's only 1 black hair, it's still called tamima. It's perfectly red. 2 is not perfectly red.
Question.
1 second. 1 second. El v'chutz lamachner, pasuk gimel, chutz l'sholosh machnos. It's staying outside of 3 camps. V'shocher oso lefonov, zor shochet v'lo zaroer. A non-Kohen slaughters it, and a lozer, he oversees it. Now we're going to skip. Second. So over here, if you skip down to Pasuk Chav Beis, he brings a medrash from Rav Moshe Darshan. Pasuk Chav Beis. Medrash Akoto Hetakti Misod Shel Moshe Darshan. The Rashi writes he copied this medrash from Rav Moshe Darshan. Vikho Elecho. Now, normally the money that korbanos, the communal offerings, came from Matzah Shekel. Let's say the Par Kohen Gadol, the ox that was brought by the Kohen Gadol Yom Kippur was from his personal money. It was not from the Matzah Shekel. Yichvei lechem shelahem. They have to pay for it themselves. Why? Kishem sheim porku nizbei hazov le'egel mishalahem. Just as at the time of the eagle, they took their own earrings to provide the gold for the eagle, and it was from theirs. Kach yavizu l'kapora shelhem, meaning the poradum is a kapora for the chet eagle. So just as the eagle came about due to the gold, which they removed their earrings, here to bring about that reinstatement, to remove the contamination, they have to give. It has to come from their own proceeds. We find that the Mishkan is called Mishkan HaEdus, the Mishkan of Testament. What is it? It's an Edus. It's an Edus. It's a testament that Hashem forgave Klaus of the Chet Egel. And we find that they had given in moments all the gold that was needed for the Mishkan, for the Egel. And when Moshe Rabbeinu said, Voseli Migdash Shechanti B'Socham, and all the materials that are needed, within no time, the first day, all the materials were given immediately. So with the same zeal and alacrity, they had given all the gold to bring about the Egel, identically, when it came to make the correction, they did it with the same alacrity, with the same zeal. Meaning, you cannot have that level of reinstatement unless you do it with the same fervor and that same zeal. Because otherwise there's a question. When it comes to sin, you have your full being is invested in it. When it comes to a mitzvah, it's only 99%. Therefore, it has to be the same level of involvement to be reinstated. So just as we find with the Egel, they gave of their own and was literally almost immediately, they had all the gold. Identically, we find by the Mishkan, since they understood that the only way that they were able to be reinstated is only, it needs a full correction, therefore was done with the same zeal. I had once said, the Gemara tells us that we find a number of times the Torah says, regarding the study of Torah, Asher Nochim Tzav Chayom, Yu Beinecho Kechadoshos, that when you study Torah, it has to be experienced as it was given today at Sinai, with that same excitement, that same newness, the same freshness. So the question is why? So the Gemara tells us in Sukkah that the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, is mechadesh aleinu b'chol yom. It's renewed every day. It has a renewal. Now, what does it mean it's renewed? So one of the commentators in the Ein Yaakov, it's called the Ein Yaakov, writes that a person does something many times, multiple times, eventually become tired of it. It becomes old hat. You have no interest in it any longer. With the Yetzer Hara, with the evil inclination, you can do it 1,000 times. Every time you do that same sin, it's as if you do it for the first time. He always shows you a new aspect of it as if you never experienced before. That's the ability of the Yetzer Hara. People don't get tired of things when it comes to sin. So if we say Barasi Yetzer Barasi Torah Tavlin, if the only antidote to deal with the Yetzer Hara is only Torah, so if he comes with his shenanigans, with his machinations, and he presents it in the most attractive way, as if you never experienced it before, so the only way you could counter that force, you have to experience the antidote with that same fervor, with that same excitement, with the same zeal, with the same alacrity, identically, because only then could you get incapacitated.